Hi everyone, in this video we will talk about the family relationships in Twilight, which is an American romantic fantasy film series, written by Stephenie Meyer, so let's get into it. Edward Cullen, birth name Edward Anthony Mason Jr., he is a telepathic vampire and a founding member of the Olympic Coven. After nearly dying from the Spanish influenza, in 1918 in Chicago, Edward was turned into a vampire by Carlisle, as the only alternative to death. His biological father, Edward Mason, he lived in Chicago, Illinois in the early 1900s. He was a lawyer. He died in the first wave of Spanish influenza in 1918. And his biological mother, Elizabeth Mason, she dedicated her whole life to her family, and provided her son with the love that her husband did not. She died in the second wave of Spanish influenza. His adoptive father Carlisle, he turned Edward when he was dying of Spanish influenza. He was Carlisle's first adoptive son, and the first vampire that Carlisle turned. Carlisle is the founder and leader of the Olympic Coven. Cullen family, also known as Cullen clan, or Cullen coven, is a coven of vegetarian vampires. Cullens are the second largest and most powerful coven, with only the Volturi ranking higher in number and power, but more mature and stable than most others, a result of abstaining from human blood and hunger for power. Carlisle's wife Esme, she is the matriarch of the Olympic Coven. In 1921, after losing her baby to lung fever, Esme attempted suicide, but her attempt was unsuccessful. Later, Carlisle transformed her into a vampire on her deathbed. Beside Edward, they have 4 other adoptive children. They are Rosalie Hale, she was turned into a vampire by Carlisle Cullen, after being gang raped and mutilated to the brink of death by her fiancé and his friends. She was born in Rochester, New York, in early 1915. Her biological parents were Mr. and Mrs. Hale. Her mother was a housewife and his father worked at a bank. She had 2 younger brothers. She is married to Emmett, birth name Emmett McCarty, who is another adoptive child of Carlisle and Esme. After being mauled by a black bear in 1935, Emmett was rescued by Rosalie, and given a second chance at life after being turned into a vampire by Carlisle at Rosalie's request. Carlisle and Esme's another adoptive child Jasper Hale, birth name Jasper Whitlock. He is one of the few surviving vampires of the Southern Vampire Wars, who later joined the Olympic Coven. He is married to Alice, birth name Mary Alice Brandon. In 1920, after having been institutionalized by her family, an unknown vampire turned her to save her from the relentless tracker. Later, she was led to the love of her life Jasper, after receiving a vision of him, and the pair subsequently joined the peaceful coven of the Cullen family. She had a younger sister, Cynthia Brandon. She is portrayed in the short film, The Mary Alice Brandon File. Their father, Edgar John Brandon, he was a jeweler and a pearl trader, and their mother, Lillian Brandon, she was killed by her husband, who hired the man to have Lillian murdered in order to marry another woman. Edgar married Anna Marie. Within 6 months after Edgar's wife Lillian passed away, Anna Marie treated Cynthia like a pet, and was cold towards Alice. Edward's wife, Bella Swan, when Bella was 17 years old, she transferred schools from Phoenix, Arizona to Forks, Washington to live with her father Charlie, where she meets and falls in love with Edward. In Breaking Dawn, she marries Edward, and becomes a member of the Olympic Coven. She was transformed into a vampire by Edward after nearly dying giving birth to their daughter. Their daughter, Renesmee, she is the resident vampire-human hybrid of the Olympic Coven. She has the abilities to show people her thoughts by touching them and presumably break through their mental defense. She is also the imprint of Jacob Black. Bella's father, Charlie, he is the chief of police in Forks, Washington. His ex-wife and mother of Bella, Renee Dwyer. After Bella was born, she hated the thought of letting Bella grow up in the gloomy town and begged Charlie to leave with her. Finally, she decided to leave on her own and get her life in order. For Bella's sake, they divorced in March 1988. Later she married Phil Dwyer. They fell in love around 2004 and married in September. Phil is a minor league baseball player. Bella's grandparents Jeffrey and Helen, they are mentioned in Life and Death, Twilight reimagined novel. And her maternal grandmother, Marie Higginbotham, she had been deceased 6 years prior to the beginning of New Moon, when Bella was either 11 or 12. She has a minor but important role in New Moon, because Marie's appearance plays a part in Bella's choice to become a vampire. Bella's best friend, Jacob Black, he is a shapeshifter or werewolf of the Quileute tribe, former beta of the Yulee pack, an alpha of his own. He phases into a wolf for the first time at the age of 16. His father, Billy Black, he resides in La Push, Washington, and is confined to a wheelchair due to complications from diabetes. He is Charlie Swan's best friend. And his mother, Sarah Black, she was part-time painter, working mostly with watercolors. She died in a car accident. Jacob has two older sisters, who are twins, Rachel Black, she is a member of the Quileute tribe, and Rebecca Black, she is the wife of Solomon Finau. That was all in Twilight Family Tree. Thanks for watching, see you all in next video, till then take care.